actually, in fairness, he's actually in this point making a semantic point which is accurate. We understand that mirrors reflect things in the inverse because we're not idiots. That doesn't mean it's not an accurate inverse reflection. And we're bright enough to be able to flip it in our heads. Okay, thank you. So I could gain value from a mirror that was 170 degrees accurate. Yeah? Therefore, I'd say there's degrees of truth and 160, and it becomes more and more distorted, but you can still discern things from it. What I aspire to is 180 degrees. I don't expect to ever get a 180-degree mirror in my life.
Why not?
Because I think human beings are fallible and finite, and inevitably it's our lot to not get perfection. Perfection is not
that's lovely that you should say that. That's an admission of our need. That means we have a deep need. Because why is it that if it was possible to have a more wholesome life, why should we miss out on that wholesome life?
Yeah, I agree. I think we should aim for a 180-degree mirror on the understanding we'll never get one, but we can get closer to it.
No, how can you say that? You can't say we'll never get one.
Not in this life.
How do you know that it's not already there? How do you know that maybe we haven't, the same way science is researching, how do you know that maybe we haven't broadened our research? I'm not saying you said that.
I didn't say it wasn't there. I said we'll never get it. That's not the same thing.
What if I say I've got it?
I think that's to misunderstand the nature of truth. I don't think truth is something you have. I think truth is something you head toward.
Well, for you, but when the truth becomes a person, not just information or knowledge or an experience, when it's a person, it's a different matter, because then you can form a relationship with truth as a person.
I didn't say you couldn't. I'm just saying I don't think you'll get 100.
Okay. You say I did.
When Moses went out Mount Sinai, and I'm not saying I believe this literally.
Okay, fine.
But he could never look directly at God.
Yes.
It's too much to see.
Yes.
When Icarus tried to fly high to the sun, there was only a height he could go to, and then his wings burned.
Yes.
In Zen Buddhism, they won't define what God means because they say any definition will be beyond the reality because your mind can't grasp it. So there's a tradition across multiple faiths that absolute truth is beyond the finite, limited human mind. It doesn't mean you can't head towards it, but don't expect to totally capture it. That's all.
Well, okay. Now I like what you said about Moses. Let's go back to Moses. So Moses could not see the face of God.
Yeah, he could see his thigh.
No, his backside.
Okay.
So then
Which is a weird thing to show somebody.
Why not?
Well, of all the parts of your body you can show someone, why show them your eyes?
And watch it. It wasn't that God didn't want Moses to see his face, but the same degree to which you and I cannot look at the sun when it's in its brightness. I mean, you'd actually go blind.
That's what I mean.
You'd lose your sight.
That's what I mean.
But watch it. If there was a way to have some kind of screen across your eye, where you're not looking directly at the sunlight.
Agreed. But then you're not seeing it 100%. You're seeing it through a refraction or reflection.
Well, I wouldn't say that because this is the issue of God becoming a human being. Because we can't look at him in his holiness, so he become a human being just like us and live with us.
I hear you. It's just I don't.
You don't believe that?
No, hang on. I believe that everybody has God in them.
We're made by his image.
Okay? So I just think Jesus is just another guy who had God in him, like everybody.
I wish you were right, but I don't know. Do you know anybody who's raised anyone from the dead?
I don't believe in miracles. So I could be wrong, but I don't believe in the supernatural. So no.
Yeah, but you yourself are supernatural. How come you don't believe in the supernatural?
I don't believe in your assertion that actually you may have a point. I'm always repeating the same thing. I think I think consciousness is emergent and transcendent and beyond understanding and inevitable. So if you're an atheist, you're missing something.
You keep putting these limitations.
Huh?
Why do you say beyond understanding? I think you shouldn't say that because we haven't come there yet. But you can't say we can't reach there.
I think it's of its nature that you could never capture it with your mind because it's pre-intellectual. So you can't capture it in your mind because it predates thinking.
I like where you're going, but watch it.
Well, it's a mystical position.
You've not brought us to the place of thinking.
Yeah.
But then this is where believing differs from thinking. Because believing and thinking are not the same.
Believing is faith. Belief is faith, yeah?
I wouldn't say that because, put it this way. You believe, I believe, everybody believes. Do you know anybody who doesn't believe?
Yeah.
The foundational principle of our life is that we believe.
Yeah.
You believe something, but you have to in principle believe.
Yeah. It's inevitable. You have to make choices, and you have to believe.
But God, that is God given.
Yeah.
And actually, God has put that in us to find Him. Because it is by believing we find God. And it's by not believing that we walk away from God. Yeah. See, we walk away from God because we're believing something else apart from God.
Sure. You do know the original question I asked you was, do you think it's possible for somebody else to find themselves the way you did, but in a different, using a different religion?
Okay, let's
you
go
didn't
back.
actually answer that question, okay?
That's what brought up this conversation.
So if you're a Buddhist, and I met a Buddhist here, and a Buddhist went, when I found Buddha, I found myself. The way you went, when I found Jesus, I found myself. I can believe what you're telling me, but I believe him as well.
Okay.
I wouldn't go, no, you picked Buddha, you got it wrong. I'd go, I could believe that you had that experience. Now, do you think he had a valid experience, or do you think he got it wrong?
Well, that is why I'll say to the Buddhists, let's have a discussion.
Okay.
And I'll pick some fundamentals right in there. Number one, I'll ask a Buddhist about the subject of death.
Yeah.
How do they define and respond to death in Buddhism? Because it is certain all of us will die. Everybody will die one day. And I believe that people may not say it, but it's a concern, because if you don't know where you're going when you die, I mean, that's a big one.
Hang on, you're assuming you're going anywhere. Why is it you may not be going anywhere?
It can't be an assumption.
Huh?
It can't be an assumption.
So we have to make
because
assumptions.
you mentioned about the divine. And as soon as you mention God, you're speaking about an endless, eternal dimension and eternal life.
It doesn't mean that I'm going to get perfection forever.
Well, not perfect. I'm not talking about perfection
Okay?
yet.
I could end, okay? But I think I do. I think I end. It doesn't mean there's no God just because I end. Okay? This assumption that I'm going to get perfect happiness forever seems a bit actually self-centered.
But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What if it's your body that ends, but there's a part of you that doesn't end?
It's possible, but it seems improbable. I hope it's true.
How come? Because there's a morgue. I always tell people St. Mary's Hospital is over there. There's a mortuary over there. It's full of dead bodies.
Yeah.
They're not giving anybody any problem because they're dead.
Correct.
But we are here. The only reason why we're here is because my spirit is still in my body. When my spirit leaves my body,
you're assuming it leaves. You're assuming that your spirit isn't caused by your body. If your spirit is caused by your body, the way the ticking of a clock is caused by the hand moving.
Yes.
And when you die, the hand stops moving, so there's no more ticking, so there's no more noise, so there's no more you. That looks like a more likely model. It may not be true, but it looks pretty likely.
Well, let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. Those dead bodies in St. Mary's, they've lost consciousness.
Yeah, the clock.
So the question is, what is consciousness?
That's what I said. No one's ever going to answer that one.
No, but the Bible does. The scripture answers consciousness. The spirit is what gives us consciousness.
Agree.
That is the reason why when the spirit leaves the body, the consciousness is gone.
I agree.
But the spirit is still there. It's alive. It's alive.
No. It doesn't put no. When the clock stops, the noise of the clock stops.
You're shutting. What you're doing
possible.
is that you're limiting yourself to your
Now,
body.
hang on.
And I'm saying,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I can
body.
imagine it works at least two ways, and I can believe both of them. Okay? Because both of them are cogent models, and I don't know the answer. Now, if you can't understand it's possible that you're more like a clock, where the body is a mechanism which makes a noise, and when the body stops making the mechanism, the noise stops and you stop. If you can't understand that's also possible, then you start to look less credible, because it looks like you're now too partisan to a particular worldview, and you don't want to look at other ones.
Not necessarily, because you mentioned right now when the clock stops. But what about those who the body was, the clock was ticking and stopped, and then stopped for a while, then they started ticking again?
Who are those people? Which people are those?
Near-death experiences. I mean, are you telling me you haven't heard of near-death experiences?
Yeah, but then the clock restarted. That's the but. If a human consciousness is like the sound of a hand ticking,
yes.
And if for a second the clock stopped, so the sound stopped,
yes.
And then someone rebooted the clock or put a new battery in,
yes.
The sound starts, so the person starts.
So let me ask you. Let's come back to the issue of death.
Yeah.
So a dead person is a person whose either brain has stopped functioning, they can't breathe, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wound.
And then somebody will ask the question: what is the difference between death and sleep?
Similar. When you're dead, when you're sleeping, you're still having subjective experience.
When you say subjective experience,
I'm dreaming. I'm having qualia.
But what is that dream like?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point is, we can agree that I am experiencing stuff still, whether awake or asleep. I'm still.
Well, is it in your body or outside your body?
Same thing.
I don't know if it's inside or outside.
Death and sleep, the same thing.
They're not. See, look at what they say. They are not. They are not.
The only difference is when
See,
once
they
you
are
die,
not.
the soul goes up. That's it.
That's my point.
Why are death
That's
and
why-
sleep the same
How can they
thing?
be the
Because
same?
you're unconscious. You don't know anything. You're
No,
not
but I
alive.
do. No, I do. I'm
You're
dreaming.
dreaming.
You're not alive.
I'm dreaming.
Okay, you.
But you're still your body's
So
still
I'm
breathing.
not dead.
But
When I'm
still, you're not
dead,
alive.
Your body's still breathing, brother.
you're not alive.
if I'm
Your body
dreaming,
is
I'm
still
experiencing. And if I'm experiencing, I'm alive.
They're similar
This
things.
thing isn't experiencing anything. That means it's effectively dead. To all intents and purposes, that's a dead object. We don't call it dead because it was never alive.
because-
Right? But it's a dead object.
Okay, but when you die, and if you go heaven or hell, are you going to experience something? Yes or no?
I don't think I'm going to heaven or hell.
Well, you're more lost.
I think it's unlikely. It's possible, but unlikely.
So what about the people that commit so much sins? What were the people that are poor and that have nothing there for them to live on?
How does it follow that because people behave badly, there must be an afterlife? There's
Of
no
course, there's a
connection.
punishment for it.
Okay, and
Why
now
is
you-
it one person can live a good life, another person can live in a bad
Yeah,
life
okay.
and still get away with it?
I understand.
That don't make sense.
Okay, you've decided that the only way that you can have landed in the
I'm
universe
trying to
is
explain
if
it
it's
to
got a
your
moral
sense.
absolute
I'm trying
and
to-
you're going to get a reward. Now that might be
I'm
true,
trying
but
to
you think it's a
explain it to your
certainty.
sense.